Manchester United are preparing bids for two La Liga stars as they push to solve their left-back problem before the transfer deadline. Spanish reporter Pu Delgado reported that United are preparing a €30 million offer for Alejandro Balde and a separate €50 million offer for Eduardo Camavinga, with both bids expected to be submitted before the transfer window closes. Delgado said, "An intermediary with excellent international connections told me this morning that United is preparing a €30 million offer for Alejandro Balde and another €50 million offer for Eduardo Camavinga to be submitted before the transfer window closes. I don't know what will happen because it's something they think about and prepare for, but I prefer to speak out than remain silent in this case." These two deals would arrive on top of a summer in which United have already signed 3 midfielders, meaning the club continues to be linked with midfield reinforcements despite that business being considered complete. Alongside the La Liga interest, United have also been strongly linked with Brighton left-back Ferdi Kadioglu. Turkish outlet Aspor posted on X that Manchester United is set to sign the 26-year-old Turkish left-back from Brighton for £40 million, with 10% of that fee, around £4.7 million, owed to Fenerbahce as a sell-on percentage. Turkish Football later provided a more cautious update, stating, "Manchester United and Fenerbahce have both made formal inquiries regarding the availability of Brighton and Hove Albion star Ferdi Kadioglu." Sources have told Turkish Football that reports circulating across Turkish media have recently claimed that Manchester United were closing in on a finalized deal to sign the 26-year-old versatile international before the transfer deadline. However, Turkish Football understands there is currently no agreement in place between the Red Devils and the Premier League side, with rumors of an imminent move being premature. A move for Kadioglu would mark the second signing United have taken from Brighton this summer, following the £65 million plus £5 million in add-ons deal already completed for Carlos Baleba. If you're finding this transfer breakdown useful, this is exactly the kind of coverage you'll get every single day here on Final Whiz. Hit that subscribe button, tap the like icon, and drop a comment below telling us which signing you think United should prioritize before the deadline. Your input genuinely shapes what we cover next. Separately, United are reportedly keeping an eye on German under-21 center-back Finn Jeltsch, who plays for Stuttgart. Jeltsch is contracted until 2030, giving his club a strong negotiating position in any future talks. Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Juventus are also among the clubs credited with interest in the defender. United's pursuit of a left-back has been complicated by the club's financial position. Manchester United's record transfer fee remains the £89 million paid to Juventus for Paul Pogba in August 2016, a fee that has not been exceeded across the 20 transfer windows since. United have not won the Premier League since Sir Alex Ferguson's departure in 2013. Sir Jim Ratcliffe arrived at the club in February 2024 and initiated a cost-cutting effort that has continued through this summer's transfer window. The £65 million plus £5 million in add-on signing of Carlos Baleba was significant for United, but such fees have become standard across the Premier League this summer. United internally noted this after withdrawing from the race for Matheus Fernandes and Sandro Tonali, who both moved to Tottenham in a combined deal worth £185 million. Premier League clubs have spent a cumulative total of over £2 billion this summer, with further major transfers expected before the September 1st deadline, including Liverpool's negotiations with Paris Saint-Germain for Bradley Barcola, Manchester City's pursuit of Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea, and Arsenal's interest in Atletico Madrid's Julian Alvarez. Given this financial backdrop, United are attempting to sign a left-back on a limited budget. The club is unwilling to meet Barcelona's asking price for Alejandro Balde and has reportedly requested a loan deal instead. Jorge Salinas, a 19-year-old from Racing Santander, is another option under consideration, carrying a release clause of 16 million euros, approximately £13.6 million. Lewis Hall was previously United's first-choice target, but Newcastle's refusal to sell has stopped that move. Discussing the possibility of United delaying their pursuit of Hall until next year, trusted Old Trafford reporter Laurie Whitwell said, "I think that's the view from United. If they can't get him now, they're not going to block his pathway by spending money on somebody that would block his pathway into the first team. What the result of that is, maybe now a loan or a cheaper option. Probably a loan, to be honest, but I'm not sure how much money they've got left unless there's movement on outgoings, and that can change the picture a little bit." United's financial constraints extend beyond transfer fees. The club's most recent financial accounts showed they owe £245.75 million in outstanding transfer fees, with £171.14 million of that due after more than 1 year. The wage bill presents an additional challenge. Marcus Rashford was handed a contract worth £325,000 per week in July 2023. Manuel Ugarte, signed for £50 million 2 years ago from PSG, is paid £150 million per week and is currently injured. United's return to the Champions League brought an estimated £50 to £100 million in additional revenue, but it also triggered a clause giving players including Mason Mount and Andre Onana an automatic 25% wage increase. United have since changed this clause so that players must feature in 60% of the team's minutes to qualify for the increase, though the club continues to feel the financial effects of the previous terms. Joshua Zirkzee was not among the players to receive the wage uplift, and United have been unable to find a buyer for the striker. United are also planning a move for a second Brighton player following the Baleba deal, with the club having formally announced Baleba's signing on Tuesday. Baleba signed a 5-year contract with an option for an additional 12 months. United had initially agreed personal terms with the player last summer before being deterred by Brighton's £100 million demand at the time. Baleba follows Andre Onana and Yuri Tielemans in completing United's midfield rebuild this summer. United's season began with a 2-0 defeat to Hull City on the opening weekend, marking the first time the club has lost to a newly promoted side on the opening day of a Premier League season. Following the defeat, United fans were surveyed on where they expect the club to finish this season. Of 9,713 responses received, 36% predicted a finish of 5th or lower, while 21% predicted the club would finish as champions. 4th place received 16% of the vote, 3rd place received 14%, and 2nd place was the least popular answer at 13%. Baleba was not available to make his debut for United against Ipswich Town the following weekend. The defeat to Hull City exposed issues in United's attack as well as their defense. The club's forward line has not produced a Premier League 20-goal scorer since Robin van Persie. United have been linked with Galatasaray striker Victor Osimhen throughout the summer. Osimhen, aged 27, scored 63 goals in his first 76 games in Turkey and began this season with back-to-back Super League braces. During his time at Naples, he scored 76 goals in 133 games, including 26 league goals in the 2022-23 season that helped Naples win the Serie A title. By comparison, Benjamin Sesko, signed by United last year, scored 51 goals in 120 games across his time at RB Leipzig and United combined. Football Fancast exclusively reported this month that Osimhen is open to joining United before the deadline, and the club has already held talks with his camp this summer. Osimhen's wage demands and price tag remain an obstacle, with a £111 million bid from Saudi side Al Hilal already rejected in recent weeks. As an alternative, United have discussed a potential deal for Crystal Palace striker Jean-Philippe Mateta. Journalist Alex Crook, speaking to TalkSport, said discussions have taken place regarding a possible move for the 29-year-old who has been offered to United in negotiations. Every one of these stories is developing fast with the deadline closing in, and that's precisely why Final Whiz exists, to bring you the full picture before anyone else does. If this breakdown gave you clarity on where United's business stands, make sure you're subscribed so today's update isn't the last one you catch. Turn on notifications, like this video, and tell us in the comments, should Michael Carrick prioritize the left-back signings, push for Osimhen, or settle for the Mateta alternative? We read every comment, and your voice genuinely drives what story we dig into next.